Hey, welcome to X's and O's. I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here with my lovely co-host and business entrepreneurial mind, Leslie. Leslie Spoor.
That's me.
Hey, Leslie, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, so last week when we were on the show, if you haven't been here before, this is the first time. What we talk about is Leslie's the expert. I get to ask questions as if I'm not an expert, and she answers them. She's a serial entrepreneur. She has 3 businesses. She keeps saying, why do I say 3? And the reason is because I think of Executive Variance, Concierge Business Solutions, and then also your software that you sell.
Essential elements, yeah.
Yeah, essential elements. So so to me, that's 3 businesses.
I guess so.
So that's a triple header. So what we do is we try to pose a question that you might, as a small business owner here in the Coachella Valley or wherever you're watching from, might be coming up against. And today we're going to finish up or continue on with the conversation we promised last week,
Right.
which was to talk about
Business card etiquette and e-newsletters, both of those.
So you have something before we started. Now, when you're watching this, whether it's live or it's recorded, Leslie's put together a PDF document that you can download. All you have to do is there's a link on this page here, and you just click that, and you can get the entire list of do's and don'ts with both of those.
Right.
But Leslie, you have some time. You're going to share a couple of what you think is most important. Or?
I am. I'm going to share because people don't understand. Most people don't realize that there's an etiquette for business cards. They just think you walk up and hand somebody a business card, and that's all there is to it. But there's really a little bit more to it than that, both giving a business card and receiving a card. So just quickly, I'm sorry, I have to put my glasses on because I can't see. The number one thing you want to remember about your business cards is to make sure that they're always clean, of good quality, and legible. Okay, and again, we talked about our target audience in the past. So if you're promoting to baby boomers like myself, and I assume you, are you a millennial? Are you a millennial?
No, I was born in the '60s.
Oh,
so,
he's even younger than me. Oh my goodness. If you are old like me, you need to be able to see them. So make sure the font you use on your business card is big enough for the person that's going to get the card, right? That's really important because we go to chamber mixers and things, and they hand out these little tickets for raffles. I can never read those numbers. Can you?
Yeah, no. When I see people now, they're giving like these odd shaped cards, but they're like this small, and
you can't read those.
I can't even read those. It's almost like I pick it up. If I can't see it, I just toss it.
Yeah, and that's one thing to remember too, is that there is a standard way to do a business card, and we all think we want to get creative. I did in the beginning too, and I turned my card 90 degrees, so it was reading up and down, and it turned out that people just really did not like those because even though the little round ones and the triangles and the hexagons are all cute and everything, truly people just want a regular old business card. So you want to make sure the quality is good, and then don't like throw them in your briefcase or your purse or something like that and let them get all smudged and icky and messed up, because that represents your business, right? That card is your brand, who you are when you're not there.
So so I find myself, I have a little pouch that I put things in, and I put my business cards in there. I put it in my briefcase, but I still see that sometimes they're probably getting a little marred up. What would you recommend we do?
Throw them out and get some new ones.
No. I mean, but where would we store those so they don't have that happen?
Oh, well, I think you should have a dedicated, even if it's a plastic baggie. If you don't have a lot of money to invest in an actual card, business card holder, because they have those. I use a metal one, which I think is kind of heavy, but at least it keeps them clean and flat. You could even just use a plastic bag and a rubber band. Something that will keep them flat and clean is what the most important thing. And it doesn't have to be super costly. It just has to be effective. Okay.
All right, good.
And then secondly, the other thing I want to share with you about business cards is to make sure that you treat that business card as you would the person that you're talking to.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, show respect for the card, because in effect you're showing respect for the person. So when somebody hands you a business card, make sure you actually take the time to look at it, check both sides, because these days people are putting stuff on both sides of your card, and make sure that you ask questions about it, show some interest in the card, make a compliment to it if it's justified. This looks really nice, or I can actually read this font, that's so helpful, or oh gosh, I didn't realize you did this, this, and this, if it's listed on the card. Something to show interest in that card, because in effect you're showing interest for the person who gave it to you, right? And that's how you start your relationship.
You know, that reminds me when I was fortunate enough, I went to Japan, and handing business cards out there, it's an interesting process because they hand you their business card with both hands like this, and you receive it with both hands. It's like this is a major gift.
And it is.
And you do exactly what you say is hey, I'm taking interest in it. I'm asking questions about it, and then I don't just throw it in my pocket.
Right.
I treat it as if, hey, it's a gift, not just somebody's business card. I'll check it later.
And that seems like it's kind of odd and weird, but it's actually, that's really the truth. When you go up to meet somebody at a networking event, you do not want to rush from one person to the next. Taking a minute to actually read a card, ask a question about it if you don't understand what somebody does. A lot of times we make the mistake of calling our business one thing and we actually do something else. And so people don't always understand what it is we offer from our card, which we hopefully will fix that with these little webinars. But even still, sometimes we come up with a clever name and then the person doesn't know what we do.
Yeah.
So like on the back of my one company's cards, it says exactly the services that we offer so that people will know this is what we do. And I think it's important that you treat that card just like you would the person.
Do you think sometimes we just, not intentionally, but we just sometimes make our business card too casual? Meaning, it's almost like if this were a billboard and you spent that kind of money on a billboard, would you make sure the spelling is correct and that it's clean, it's in a good location, which is what you're talking about? Right. And I'm guilty, and I've been in that situation. Somebody's handed me that card, and they hand it to me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to scratch out the number because this is I'm like."
That's a cardinal sin, by the way.
Yeah.
I just ordered a whole new set of cards because we eliminated our 800 number. Society keeps changing over the years. We've been in business now in the one company we're in our 11th year. And I used to have an 800 toll-free number. We don't have that anymore because everybody uses their cell phone. So it doesn't really matter that you don't need an 800 number. Right. So we took it off, and I realized I had a whole bunch of cards that had it on there. I can't cross it off. Yeah. Right? It just looks bad. Yeah. So I just trashed them and got all new ones. I mean, for $100, it isn't worth, that's about what 1,000 cards cost. It isn't worth handing out a card that misrepresents you or doesn't support your business or looks like you're cutting corners. It just isn't worth it.
Yeah. Because that really kind of sets the stage if somebody gets that, and that's the interpretation they make. Huh?
Well, and it doesn't even matter if it's conscious. It can be a subconscious interpretation of what you gave to them. So be aware that your card is you when you're not there. That's all you have. Yeah. That and your brochure, right? So either one of those needs to properly reflect who you are and what kind of business you do and the quality of your business. And a marked up card or an old picture on a card, we talked about that once before, or inaccurate information or dog ears or any of that stuff does not reflect who you are, unless that's the kind of business you're running. If you're running a junkyard, maybe you want it to look like a junkyard, that's okay. But if you're not and you're running a company where you want to be viewed as professional and personable and high quality, then you need to make sure your cards reflect that.
Yeah, and a little something about that is over the years and time, I've received a lot of business cards, as we all have, and it just reminds me this morning on my dresser, I have those business cards, but they're in a plastic container, like it's closed up. It's like a Ziploc.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So it's taking care of those. Now I might go back through there and find out that half of these people are out of business or they're no longer doing what they're doing. But the point is I still took care of their card too.
Right. And there's a lot we could talk about along that line. I have what I call my VIP folder, which is a plastic binder with business card pages in it, right? And so those are people I go to quite a bit. And so I keep those in there. And I know exactly where that's at all time, but you're right. You do have to go through and purge cards that people are no longer in business because they're in and out all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so recap just those two things as far as business card etiquette. And again, remember, you can now go to that link on the page and you can download the entire list that Leslie has. But tell us the two that you're talking about again, just to recap.
The two that I really want to make sure people remember. One is to make sure that your business cards are clean, accurate information, legible, of decent size font, and pretty much stick with the standard rectangular which direction is that? It's not portrait, it's landscape.
Landscape. Yep.
Sometimes my brain doesn't always work. Make sure that you have the landscape. It just makes it easier. Everybody expects that. They fit in their wallet really easy. That works out. And then treat the card that is given to you with respect and reverence almost, and actually show some interest in it, because that card is that person. And if you just say, okay, great, and stick it in a pocket and go on, that person feels slighted, even if it's subconscious. This stuff is there's a lot of subliminal, subconscious marketing and things that go on, and people don't always, it doesn't register in the front of their brain, but it does register in their heart, and you really want to make people feel like you care about who they are.
Good points, good points. So now let's make a shift, and let's talk about when it comes to a newsletter, because there's probably a generation out there that they may not know what a newsletter is, and
how could you not know what a newsletter is?
and two is they don't understand the value of the newsletter really when it comes to maintaining and growing your business. So let's talk about your favorites out of these.
And there is quite a big list here about newsletters, because there are a lot of do's and don'ts with them. So I encourage you to download this white paper that we've provided. It's completely free. We want you to understand how this stuff works. So I picked out 3 of my favorite.
Oh, 3. Still down
3. If we can get to 3, I want to talk about them. So one is to create a format that promotes your brand. Everything about how you project the image of your company needs to be consistent. So your newsletter, your brochures, your business cards, all of that stuff needs to look the same, right?
Okay.
Same color, same font, same logo, same everything. So when you do your newsletter template, make sure that brand is carried through on that, so that people recognize you as that newsletter is you. There are companies out there that will create templates for you. I recently, a couple years ago now, God, time goes so fast, recently had Constant Contact as the company I use. There's also SurveyMonkey and all different kinds of companies, but I happen to use Constant Contact. They redid a template for me, so it was social media applicable. So now when you read my newsletter on a phone, it actually it's scaled properly.
Gotcha.
And it looks like our business. So you absolutely want to make sure you use a template. And by the way, getting that done by them was really inexpensive. I think it was $50 or $75, which is nothing compared to somebody not being able to read your newsletter on a phone, which is where, by the way, almost everybody reads these things these days.
Yeah.
Right? On a
Absolutely.
tablet or a phone.
Highest percentages on a
Right.
mobile device. Yep.
Yeah, so make sure your brand is adequately reflected in the template. Okay, that's number one. And then I want to make sure that people understand you do not need to do a hard sell when you do a newsletter. It isn't necessary to say, buy my products, buy my products, buy my products, which is the mistake a lot of people make. They do a hard sell newsletter that says, here's a promo, here's 25% off. You know, they're always selling. You don't have to do that for a newsletter to be effective. What you have to do is let people see who you are. And if you create a newsletter that is personal and still business-like and professional, but personal to who you are, people really, really like that. Almost like a blog. They want to read it because it's interesting. And so if they like you, they're going to do business with you. I know it's a cliche, but it's really true that if they like you, they'll do business with you. So let them see who you are.
Okay.
You know, absolutely let them see who you are. You have a question?
Well,
on that?
I was just
I can see that there's one in your eyes.
Well, no, it reminded me of there's a guy, it's called the Social Media Examiner, and it comes out, and it's an online newsletter, and rarely, if ever, is he selling me on anything.
Right.
He's educating me and entertaining me, but I always open his stuff. And
right.
I'll he does it in such a way as on the email when it shows up, he has little snippets and it says more. And there's always something on there that I want to know more about. Then it takes me to the regular newsletter online, and I'll end up reading 4 or 5 of his bits of information.
Yeah.
Very, very, very smart. And like you said, I don't think he's ever really selling me. Now, he might put a little banner ad on there about, hey, there's a social media convention coming up or something like that, but he's never hard selling me. And so from that standpoint, for me, that's why I keep opening up his stuff. If he was just every time, we all get it, right? You sign up for one thing, and then next thing you know, every day they're selling you something.
Right.
This next rate is, and they're spam. I delete them. So that's a great point.
And we're going to talk, and this thing talks about frequency also, and how often to do newsletters and that sort of thing. So this white paper will be really helpful for you from that point of view.
Okay.
But you don't need to, like I said, you don't need to overly sell. You just need to let people see who you are. And then finally, and this is really important as far as if you're going to do any kind of a newsletter, and that is to get permission for distribution. Okay, a lot of people forget that. They'll get a list of email addresses from a friend of theirs and upload those into their, whatever their marketing software is, and then start sending unrequested emails, which are interpreted as spam, even if you don't mean for it to be spam, even if you're not hard selling. People do not want to receive things they did not ask for. You get aggravated with it. I get aggravated with it.
Right.
So, I mean, I just had to go. Remember last week we talked about me falling down the stairs?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I survived.
I wasn't going to bring it up again, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a great trip. I fell down the stairs and I went to the urgent care. And today I received a newsletter from the urgent care in Colorado where I went after I fell down the stairs and instantly unsubscribed.
Interesting.
I don't plan to ever go back. And as much as I appreciate
Now
that
you're
and as much as I appreciate that they sent me a newsletter, I don't need it, right? I don't need it to clutter up my mailbox. So
somewhere along the lines, did you think that you probably signed a form that gave them permission to send it?
Yes.
But I mean, let's face it, you're not there checking that kind of stuff. You won't care.
And I was in pain. So, so they asked for my email. And anytime somebody asks for your email, it's likely they're going to add you to something. But you, as a responsible business owner, okay, I'm going to put it that way. As a responsible business owner, you want to disclose to people that if they give you your email, you're going to use it for your newsletter. So that's one thing. Even when I give away, when I'm doing expos and different kinds of marketing things, and I'm giving away some kind of gift basket, and I'm asking people to sign up with their name and email address, right on the flyer for the thing we're giving away with the description, it says, your email address will be added to distribution for our newsletter. Okay, you have to disclose it. If people don't want it, then they won't sign up for it. It's just as well they don't, because you'd rather not have them sign up than have them be upset with you for marketing, right?
Good point.
So better to ask and disclose it. Excuse me, my nose itches. Oh, miss me a lot of money.
This is live.
A lot of money coming in, and my nose itches. So sorry about that.
So can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
You know, you're talking about getting people's names in the list. How important is it to generate those names? I mean, the database is still very important, is it not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Absolutely. You have to have what's more important than the database is the number of people who open your newsletter. When I was consistently doing mine, which I have not been doing, but is going to start back up again really soon. When I was consistently doing mine, I was getting a 28% open rate, which is almost unheard of. It's above the nationwide average of opens for newsletters, and that's because I write about my life and what's happening and try to give interesting and helpful hints about how to do stuff. People like that. They always have. So you need to get them to read it. Doesn't matter how many's on your distribution list if they don't read it, right?
Can I, if I could toss in a little something
Sure.
there? There was a client we had, and it was about 2 years ago, when we first started working with them on their email. They had about 5,000 names on their list, and we started looking at it, and it was really a very old, tired list because their open rate was down around 11 and 13%. So we went in and we did what we call a re-engagement campaign. And we sent out a series of 10 different emails asking them to please sign up. Now, if you receive that on the first time, let's say you are in that 11% or 13%, and you say, yes, I still want to keep getting it, great. Then you never got another message from us. Right. But we kept doing this for 10 weeks, and what we did is we eliminated about 3,700 names.
Right.
Now, they freaked out, but they were 3,700 names that meant nothing.
Right.
So what happened is, then for the next, until we stopped working with them, their open rate was in the 90s. which again,
And that's what you want.
unheard of. But here's what we want. We want a list, as you were saying, you want a list that's engaging with you, that's not just saying, oh, here's another one, let me delete that. No, they want to know what's going on. So we made sure to ask those questions. And so consider that, if you would, this is a bonus, just because I stuck my nose in it and she had the rubber nose, is,
I had to rub my nose.
is look at segmenting your list. And basically what that means is, are these people signed up for a service or a product? Is it a, what is the reason they're engaging with you? Even to the point you can ask things like, hey, do you prefer getting a newsletter? And I see this a lot now, more and more often, which I appreciate. Like, especially when I go to unsubscribe, they'll ask those questions. And if it's like, well, it's too frequent, what would you like it only once a week? They're still trying to keep you. But if you ask that right up front, hey, would you prefer only this? Once a week, once a month, and then you do that, and then you have that automated. The chances are your engagement and future revenues will go up because of that simple process.
And that's absolutely true. And you do have to cull your list every once in a while so that you are reaching the people that you want. In my case, I have different people all the time, right? So sometimes they'll open this topic because it makes sense. The subject line is another big deal. Is making sure that your subject line reflects what you're going to talk about, because that's the first thing they see.
I always put on there like you're winning lottery numbers inside.
Yeah, and that goes right to spam. I know for a fact. We'll go right to spam. That's another thing. You want to watch what your topics are, because I did one about Wii bowling or something once years ago, which was real popular with my readers. But I talked about how it was good exercise to do Wii bowling, and the word exercise got tagged for spam right away.
Okay.
So so you have to really watch the words you use and what you're saying. We're getting a little bit farther, but you want to watch what you say and check. There's usually a spam checker for these online email applications. Make sure you do that so that you can make that your email will get to the people that you're targeting.
That's right. That's right. Well, those are good information. So give us a little recap then on the newsletter.
Okay, so I have to look. Okay, so I want to make sure that your format of your newsletter, the template that you use, is consistent. You make a template actually, and use the same one every time you create your newsletter, so that it looks like you, it sounds like you, and it is recognizable for your company. That's really important.
Colors, logo, font, everything.
All of that stuff. Yeah. In fact, like I said, make a template and then copy it every time, so you're using the same thing. Now, it's fine to redo that every so many years. If you update your website, then you need to update your template for that as well. So you have to kind of keep up with things. Second of all, don't overtly sell. You don't have to. You want people to read, you want them to like you, they're going to remember you. If they do, they will recommend you to other people. They'll buy from you if you're selling products, whatever you're doing. You don't have to hard sell people. Nobody likes that.
One little thing, and I know we're just in a recap, but it just reminds me of a client right now that we have, and we started about 16 months ago with them, and all we did was create tons of content and build value and relationships. And his average client, the lifetime value is over $25,000. Since in the last 7 months, they've added 40 new clients.
Wow!
So that's $1 million worth of business.
Right.
And we hardly ever asked to do anything except just here's great information that you're going to be. And it was a weekly email with a video. Right. And so you don't have to oversell. The selling comes from building the relationship and the trust, and like I said, 40 referrals. And for some people, they say, well, 40 referrals is not much, but when they're $25,000 a piece,
that's huge.
That's $1 million worth of business. So that's exciting.
It is huge, and you want. My nose is itching like crazy. I don't know. That's got to mean something. I'll have to look it up in my symbols book later. Who knows? It only happens when I'm online for some reason. I don't know why. You definitely want to get people to know who you are, because people truly, if they like you, they're going to want to work with you or refer you to their friends. And that's how they need to feel about your newsletter, is that you're sharing with them something that's interesting or educational or fun, or how to do something, whatever, something fun. And then finally, get permission to put people on your newsletter. A lot of times people are intimidated about that. They're afraid to tell somebody. It's just like disclosing how much you charge. better to disclose it up front. If they don't like it, they don't have to work with you, right?
That's right.
If that's not your client, you don't need them. So you need to be able to disclose, hey, here's here's a business card. We're doing an exchange. Is it okay when you're looking at it and you're, come back to the business card, you're looking at it, you're asking questions, and at the end you say, is it okay if I add you to my email distribution?
There you go.
It's as easy as that. And when they say, sure, do it, then you're okay.
Yeah. Good point. Anything else, any little tip you want to leave us with before we sign off today? Because this has been great information.
I'm going to leave you with, download this free white paper on business card etiquette and newsletters. There's a lot more information here, and it will help you. And if I'm going to give it away for free, you might as well have it. So I think you should.
It's much more valuable than free, I promise you.
It is much more valuable than free, for sure.
Well, Leslie, what do you think we're going to talk about next week?
I have no idea. I don't know if you guys know, but usually when we sit down to do this, we have no idea what we're going to talk about until like 2 minutes before we turn on the camera, which is kind of exciting and unnerving all at the same time.
It checks our level of knowledge, right?
Right. And this one is always telling me, oh, it's going to be this, and then we turn the camera on and he does something else, so it completely throws me off. So
I got to keep her on her toes. I don't want to be stable.
So I don't know. On the one hand, I was thinking about this all week. On the one hand, it's good to tell you what we're going to talk about because if you're interested, you'll show up. On the other hand, it's kind of fun to not know and to come and see what we're going to talk about. So I would encourage you, though, if you have a topic that you're interested in, to put it in the comments.
Yeah.
And then we'll fold it in at some place.
Anything in that where you say, hey, this is out of bounds, or this doesn't. We want to keep it on topic, right? For local business owners on, hey, how you can run your business.
Local is national. I have a lot of clients all across the U.S.
Well, when I say local, I mean most of the time your business is you're serving a local environment. It doesn't mean you have to be in the Coachella Valley. You could be watching in New England if you want to right now during a snowstorm if you want to, but the deal is you're probably servicing a local base. Right.
Yeah, and we really want to help you be successful in your business. So no topic is off limits. If it's legal and it's kind, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Right?
And during this conversation, if you haven't picked it up already, my business is Swing Point Media, and we tend to do more in the digital marketing space.
Right.
So sometimes I'll toss something in, but she's the expert when it comes to this information. But I might tease you with a little bit of information there too. So
I helped you guys.
She did help us, yeah.
Right.
And now don't just throw my business
Amy's
cards
behind the
in
camera,
front
right,
seat.
Amy? She's waving.
So anyway, I want to thank you for joining. So I think you were saying, hey, put your topics down in the conversation.
Put your topics down in the comments block. If you have a suggestion for a webinar, we'd be happy to create a webinar on some topic if we don't already have it. And
speaking of that, you have on your website you have webinars. Tell them where they need to go.
If you go to www.conciergebusinesssolutions.com and click on the product, if you click on the webinars page under education, a whole list of our webinars are there already pre-made with you guys. Really nice quality webinars. They're very inexpensive, $49, and you can learn a lot of information really quickly. I get emails about how do I market to realtors? How do I market to homeowners associations? How do I develop a vendor network? All these things we've already addressed in webinar form so that it's more cost effective, because if you call me to talk to me directly is, I'm happy to do it and I love to do it, but my consulting costs are far more than the $49. So why not get the webinars and get as much information as you can? And then if you have questions, then we can focus in on exactly what you have so we can solve your particular problems.
Now, on that, okay, so you can go to the webinar. I mean, you can go to your website, conciergebusinesssolutions.com, but you also do consulting.
Right.
How do they get a hold of you for that?
So you can call me at 760-898-9604, or you can go to Concierge Business Solutions and click the Contact Us, or you can literally just order the concierge time online. It'll send me your information and I'll call you. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can reach us. I'm also available on Facebook, as you can see. You can message me here too. So, or you can call me. Did I get the number?
You did.
I did.
Say it one more time.
760-898-9604. I helped a lady yesterday, as a matter of fact, who called, and we spent about an hour on the phone and helped her narrow her focus. She was really kind of all over the place, and so we just sort of narrowed her focus, and she was really happy at the end of that. So.
That's awesome. Well, I know you can help. So give Leslie a call. Check out her webinars. Go to her website. Check that out.
Download the white paper.
Download the white paper. The link is on below, and we'll see you next week. I'm Jeff Harrison
Leslie Spoor
for X's and O's.